Hey guys, so I'm gonna do a video of what's been going on the last year and a half with me and my wife on the hereditary angioedema, the medical condition that she's just been diagnosed with. Um, it's been a battle, and I have had people text me since we got a diagnosis on Easter. How did we go about getting a diagnosis? How did we get to the Mayo Clinic? How did we get to where we are now with a diagnosis and a preventative? And guys, I'm gonna tell you, it wasn't easy. I'm gonna try to make this as short as I can, just so everybody will know. So from February of 2025 to just December, my wife had been admitted in the hospital a total of 25 times. That's admissions. That's more anywhere from 3 days to a month in the hospital. 7 of the time she was intubated on a vent. And in June 2025, June 28th of 2025, I'll get it right, we went ahead and made the decision to have a tracheotomy placed in her neck just to guarantee her airway. That's how serious everything had gotten. And guys, it's just so you know, every time we got admitted into the hospital, there was blood work, there was x-rays, MRIs, CAT scans, urine analysis. They did brain activity waves. Every test you could imagine has been done between Fort Walton Beach Medical Center and Baptist Hospital. That's the two hospitals she had pretty much was admitted in. Again, June 28th, we didn't make the decision to go ahead and have a tracheotomy placed because it had got to the time that where it was taking up to 6 tries to get a tube in place. Also, each time she was put into the hospital, she was on the max dose of propofol, she was on fentanyl and Versed just to keep her sedated, to keep her from pulling her trach out. So that's something else you really need to think about. As far as testing, before all this happened in June, May, we actually contacted the Mayo Clinic in Jacksonville. You can actually go to their website and you can actually go through there and fill out a informational page, and it's sent to them. Once they receive it, they will take that information on what's called a round table, and where a lot of doctors meet up, they'll discuss the symptoms that this person is having, and they'll say, well, that one's for me, I can handle that one. This one might be for me, and it'll go to different doctors. When we did that, we had an appointment within 48 hours. That was the 1st of May. Our appointment was the end of May, so we went. More testing and checking. And the doctor we seen at the Mayo Clinic handles hereditary angioedema, but she's never heard of the symptoms that we were having with Christy. So that was just another letdown. We got to the point where, okay, if she doesn't know, maybe we need to go to a bigger hospital. Maybe we need to go to one out of state, somewhere further. So we started sending information into those, and I'll tell you now, guys, their appointments was from 4 months to 8 months just to get in. So that didn't help us at all. We continued with the Mayo Clinic in Jacksonville. And just so you know, throughout the last 3 years, we've had unbelievable blood testing, very in-depth blood testing, cancer testing. The only thing we didn't do was the bone marrow testing. They found a polyp in her stomach that they went and tested that was full of T cells, which is from the mast cell activation she was diagnosed with. Just testing after testing after testing, and everything was within normal limits. Everything. None of the testing that we did for hereditary angioedema showed out of place. Everything was within normal limits. So that was a letdown. That was just more depression bringing on, more stress. Then we started having doctors saying Munchausen And for what Munchausen is faking your symptoms, seeking attention, and seeking medication. That got ugly. I've got a lot of doctors in trouble over that one. So fast forward to this year. We were supposed to be at the Mayo Clinic on New Year's Day, but Christy wound up getting sick, running fever, and they're an immune compromised facility, Mayo Clinic. So we told them, and they said, yeah, don't come. Doctor will call you on Zoom. Y'all discuss it on Zoom. So that's what he did. So he sent a genetics test to us. And genetics test that Christy was going to do was a very, very in-depth genetics testing. It was going very deep. And what she had to do, she had to swab the inside of her mouth. They sent her mom one, swabbed the inside of her mouth. They shipped them back. The doctor told us, said insurance will not pay for this testing. Okay, how much is the testing? This particular genetics testing was $200,000. We ain't doing it. Well, he said, it'll be taken care of. I'm sending you financial aid paperwork, fill it out. The financial aid paid 100% of it. So we was able to get the testing done. That is when the testing come back with a normal C1 factor, but an abnormal F12 mutation. Nobody's ever heard of it. Nobody's ever seen it. Nobody knew what to do with it. So it was just more testing, more talking to Mayo, seeing what the next step's going to be. We had to go down on April the 3rd. We had 7 doctor's appointments in one day to go through and do multiple other things to check on some stuff. They diagnosed Christy with another condition where I can't think of the name of it, but it's hypermobility. Her tendons, skin's very flexible, very soft. Reason why she's so weak in her ankles and everything. But we also seen the doctor there for the dysautonomia that she has, just to see if there was anything they could help with it. She's already got that under control. We're good. But Thursday night, we was back at the apartment, spending just chilling because we had to leave the next day. Well, 1 a.m., Christy had a reaction. Her tongue swole. So when we got up that morning, we packed up because we had to be out anyhow. I took her straight to the ER. And I'm going to tell you right now, guys, that Mayo Clinic ER, never been around anything like it. From the moment we walked into registration, within 5 minutes, we was back in the ER. Within 15 minutes, there was 8 different doctors that came into her ER room, asked questions, see how long it's been going on, just going through the normal. They accessed her port, they accessed everything, give her the normal medications that she's been getting, and nothing helped. So we're thinking, okay, it's just going to be another time that we don't know. We're just going to send you back home, wait and see. But they told us probably within 30 minutes to an hour, say, hey, we got you a room on the 10th floor. We're sending you up to PCU. We want to do some testing of our own. Awesome. At 2:00, a doctor walked in, Dr. Sacco. Dr. Sacco has a PhD in genetics and a PhD in allergies. He studied at France at the large university there. He is very sought after doctor, and he is only at the Mayo Clinic once every 4 weeks in Jacksonville. This paperwork come across his desk. He looked at it. He said, I don't know what the F12 is, or what the F12 mutation is. He said, but there's a reason you're here. There's a reason I'm here. And I don't know what your religion is, but if you believe in God, he has his hand in this. We're fixing to find out what's going on. We're a firm believer in our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. He said, within the next hour or two, they're going to come in with some medication. They are going to give it to her. Within an hour of receiving the last dose, we will know if it's hereditary angioedema or not. He said, all the symptoms are there, but all the testing is not. So they came in with a medication called Barinert. and they administered the first dose. It's given very slowly, one syringe every 10 minutes. So it was going to give her 3 syringes. And guys, after the first syringe, Christy's eyes got big. She looked at me and typed on her phone, "The back of my tongue has just went down." Okay. And I'm talking about I'm going to post pictures of it. You'll see just how bad it swells. 10 minutes later, they gave another syringe. Now, during this time, they took pictures before the syringe, the first one. They took pictures after the first syringe. They're taking pictures before the second. So they're doing pictures the whole time. Gave the second syringe. You could visibly see it shrinking. 10 minutes later, they gave the third syringe. After the third syringe, her tongue was back in. She was talking and crying. So at 4 o'clock, the doctors come back in. They said, "We have a diagnosis. Within 36 minutes of the first dose to the last dose, or from the first dose, 36 minutes later, your tongue was back to normal. This is hereditary angioedema." So he said, "We have a diagnosis. We have a plan. And we're going to start you on a preventative." So the world of emotions come out. So that's how we came about getting a diagnosis. This is his words and not mine. He said to doctors today, the new doctors that is coming out is scared to death to do anything out of normal practice or what the book that they've studied. The older doctors are so set in their ways that they don't want to do anything else. He said it takes doctors like me and I cannot remember the other doctor's name, that we're going to try stuff. You're in a hospital. You're in the best facility. You're on the best floor. I'm going to give you medication. If you have a worse reaction, you already have a trach. We already have everything sitting here to go ahead and reverse it and take care of you. So why not try it to see if it works? So that's how we came about with the hereditary angioedema. Now, several different things that we did throughout this year that if you're running into this, something that you really need to think about. The first thing we did, because she had had mast cell for the last 2 years, her veins had gotten very, very weak, very, very brittle. So our surgeon friend told us we really needed to look at go ahead and having a port placed in her chest for IV access. That's what we did. So we had a power port placed in the right side of her chest. Anytime we go to the hospital now, that's what they access to give her medication or fluids, everything. Second thing was, because of all of the steroids they had put her on, the prednisone, it caused type 2 diabetes. So that was one more thing added to our plate that now we have to manage and watch closely, and she had to go on insulin, long acting and short acting. The next thing was, okay, now we're looking at the possibility of worse weather. We're getting further into the summer. We're looking at hurricane season. Me and her discussed it. I talked to several doctors, talked to my brother. And it was a decision on mine and her part that if she had another reaction while she was already down, we was going to go ahead and have a trach placed to guarantee her airway. Is it something we want to do? Absolutely not. Was it something that was going to save her life down the road? 100%. So we had the trach placed June 28th. That added one more thing to the plate that we had to deal with. Now we had to keep medical supplies here at the house to change the trach, to clean the trach. We had to have humidified air attached to the trach at nighttime and then some during the daytime. She had to have a suction here at the house for when she got to coughing and stuff was coming out of it, we had to suction it. So that's more stuff added to our plate on top of the angioedema. Not only that, we had to figure out, okay, how do we proceed now to go to Jacksonville, because we got to have humidified air, we got to have suction. It's a 6-hour drive from the house to Jacksonville. So for me, I had one of them Gold Zero power banks, a big one, 300 watt, that I could carry in the car and plug her suction canister to. It would run it. It would not run the humidified air. So what we did is she actually purchased a albuterol machine that was battery operated, so we could actually pour water into it when she needed moist air and put it over the trach and breathe it while we was driving down the road. It worked perfectly. So you have to really think ahead of saying, okay, what else? What do I need before it ever gets here? Again, with the steroids, type 2 diabetes, we had everything done now for the trach. Now it was just testing and waiting, testing and waiting. As far as the diagnosis now, if it wasn't for having the genetics testing, we would still be in no idea. But because of it, we've got an oral medication that is 97% effective. We have an injection now that goes in her leg that is 98% effective that she takes every 14 days. That medication is not cheap. If it wasn't for insurance, we couldn't afford it. That medication is $58,000 for 2 syringes. So $58,000 a month. The emergency medication, the Barinert, insurance will not pay for it. And the reason insurance will not pay for it is simple because Christy is patient zero. There is no medical documentation of the F12 mutation that ties into the hereditary angioedema. Does the Barinert work? 100%. She's had to have it twice now. April the 10th, we wound up having to take her to Mobile to USA University Hospital. They carried the Barinert on hand, and they had to administer it 30 minutes later. Her tongue went back to normal. So as far as the Barinert, we can't get our hands on it because insurance, until Dr. Sacco gets his paperwork, what he's going to do is they're going to do a full medical documentation paperwork and have it published on Christy. That way, if someone down the road or somebody's dealing with it now that has no clue, that can't get to a specialist or anything, they have a way of seeing, okay, this is the testing that she's done. This is what they've come up with. This is what's helped her. Let's try it. Also, we signed up for a research. So what they're doing with Christy is while she was at the Mayo Clinic with active reaction, they actually come in and draw blood work, and they'll do everything with it now. Then while we're going back next week, we need to go back 8 weeks after Easter and do more blood work so they can compare it and use it for their study and research to be able to help people also. So between the oral medication, the injection every 14 days, we can't get the Barinert. We did get approved for the secondary emergency medication. We're hoping she does not need it, but we will have it on hand within the next couple of weeks if she does. Even if she has a reaction now, I'd still take her to Mobile, USA University Hospital. So, but since we have gotten the diagnosis Easter weekend, this is where things has kind of grew to the best. Come to find out, the prednisone, the epi, the Benadryl, and the Pepsid was not helping whatsoever with this. It was actually making it worse. So we've come off of all that except for the prednisone. She was taking 10 milligrams a day of prednisone. You cannot come off of it cold turkey. You have to downstep it. So she had to do a week at 9, a week at 8, a week at 7, a week at 6, and just work it to where she's off of it completely. So that's 9 milligrams a week, 8 milligrams, 7 milligrams. Guys, she's, I think, on 3 milligrams a week now. And she hasn't had to have insulin in 3 weeks. Coming off of the prednisone has got her blood sugar back under control. Not only that, since we're on the medication, we're going, I didn't want to say this in front of Christy, we're going 33 days now with no reaction, no swelling, no issues whatsoever. And because of that, we're going back to the Mayo Clinic on the 18th and 19th to have a CT scan of her throat and her chest. She's got to wear a pulse oximetry for 24 hours. And there's some other testing that they're going to do on the 19th. We'll be back on the 20th. If all that looks good, we go back on June the 1st. They're going to run a scope down her throat. If everything looks great, they're going to admit her into the Mayo Clinic Hospital. June the 2nd, they're going to remove her trach. And right now, they're going to put sterile strips across it to keep it safe, keep her from ingesting anything through it, and let it grow up. And she'll be without a trach. So we have been thoroughly blessed since Easter with getting all this stuff right here done. Has it been easy? No. A lot of heartache, a lot of tears, a lot of frustration, a lot of stress, a lot of stress. What I can tell you is don't give up. If your primary care physician doesn't have a clue, it's time to start going outside of him. Again, you can go to the Mayo Clinic website. You can go in the top bar up there. You can add all your information, your symptoms, and they will contact you if it's something that they can help you with. That is the best way to go through this. Again, I've had a lot of people contact me over the last several weeks and months. How did we get to where we are today? And it's with the grace of God where we're at today. I lost my job. My wife lost her job. We lost our insurance to begin with, but we was able to get insurance again. 25 hospital administrations last year. A power port placed in her chest. A trach placed into her throat. Multiple doctors saying that we're faking, seeking attention. A lot of doctors telling us, we don't know, so I'm going to send you back home, wait and see. My brother working his butt off and telling us hereditary angioedema, keeping our spirits up with that. Dr. Sacco confirming the hereditary angioedema, getting the preventative medications, the emergency medications, and getting to a somewhat normal lifestyle again. I hope this helps some of you. I hope this will kind of put it in perspective what we've been through and what to expect if this is something you're going through. I'm sure there was some people told me they have had all kind of testing, and nobody has come up with anything yet. We understand your frustration. We understand your concern. And I wish there was more that I could tell you what to do to get the diagnosis that you need and get the medication. There's a young lady that lives not far from us that her mom contacted me back first of last year. Their daughter was also diagnosed with hereditary angioedema, and she was diagnosed from a doctor at the University Hospital in Mobile. And she told me the medications, and it was Berinert also. But the doctors refused to give it to her because Christy did not meet the criteria for it. So that's part of the frustration. So guys, I'm going to tag the medication in on this video. I'm going to tag pictures of Christy, what we went through. I hope this will help somebody in the future. I truly do. And I'm a firm believer in believing in my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. There's a plan. There's a reason for everything. Some people don't understand that. Some people can't acknowledge that. Without Him, I don't know where I would be at today. And that is the truth. But because of believing in Him, having the family that I have, and having the friends that I have that has helped me through this last year, be able to keep my head on my shoulders and be able to tend and help with my wife and everything she's going through and keep her strong has been amazing. So, guys, I hope this helps somebody. So, God bless you. And I wish you every bit of the success and luck with getting a diagnosis. Thank y'all.